So out of my 9 o'clock here as he makes the turn onto Farmdale. He has slowed down his speed significantly, though, as he is in a residential area. His speeds have slowed down a lot, but the most that we saw him going at was about 75 miles an hour, and that's when he was on the 5 freeway. Continuing here now on Oxnard Street with a little bit of cross traffic coming up, but he makes a right-hand turn there onto Tahunga from Oxnard. Again, this is a suspect who is wanted for murder, and he is also an armed and dangerous suspect. So the police do believe that he may be armed in some capacity. They didn't divulge any details over the scanner over what type of weapon the suspect may possibly have, but it is because they believe that he is armed, that they're going to stay on top of this, stay right behind him, and will not be going into surveillance mode as he comes up to a major here. This is Lankershim Boulevard, a little bit of cross traffic there, but he makes it through on the red, continuing at Lankershim through Oxnard at about 40 miles an hour. Making another turn here, a right-hand turn on Irwin Street, passing by the Superior Warehouse here on the corner. Again, entering what you can describe as a residential area in the North Hollywood area now, and this is a pursuit that started in North Hollywood. That's when we first heard about it. We were at Whiteman Airport when we heard that LAPD officers from the North Hollywood division had engaged this suspect in a pursuit. The suspect in a silver vehicle, what is described as a Honda, possibly a Civic, an older model Civic, with, of course, one person behind the wheel and one person directly next to him in the passenger seat. But what's unclear is whether anyone else is inside of the vehicle in any of those back seats. He appears to be circling the same area. That is something that I am hearing here over the police scanner, is that he continues to circle roughly the same area. And because of that, okay, so I'm actually just hearing new information here that they do have a possible address for this suspect. And because of that, they're going to go to that area, the last known address for this suspect. They have it, and they're going to wait for him there. Just in case this is where this pursuit comes to an end, they will have officers there ready to go. They're also discussing over the police scanner what to do if the suspects take off running from the vehicle. They're preparing for that should that happen. Now that he has slowed down his roll and is essentially circling the same area, they think this guy may ditch the vehicle and run for it. So they're preparing for that in case that happens. Again, in the North Hollywood area, picking up speed a little bit here. Van Owen Street coming up on Lankershim. Cross traffic coming up. Oh, made that turn just in time. Wow, that was a close one. Made that right-hand turn to avoid getting T-boned there as he made a turn there onto Lankershim Boulevard. Crossing over Rose Street. Under the train tracks there. There is incoming traffic coming into Burbank Airport, so the PD ship's going to have to hang back a little bit. Likewise, we will hang back just a touch, as well as that much larger aircraft, of course, is coming in to land at Burbank Airport, so we need to give them a little bit of distance so that they can get in there. And once they get in there and land, we will be able to get closer to this pursuit. Continuing here on Lankershim, crossing over Runnymede, which is Runnymede is familiar to me because they said that is the area where the suspect. Oh, there's a pedestrian. Oh, and his dog. Wow, that was really close there with that pedestrian and his dog. He just missed getting run over by the suspect there as he continues here on Lankershim. But I was saying, just a few streets back, he crossed over Runnymede, and Runnymede is one of the streets that the suspect is connected to. So the police officers gave Runnymede with a cross of another street, which I don't know off the top of my head here, but they did say that his last known residence was off of Runnymede. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him U-turn and head back in that general direction if in fact he intends to return to that previous address as he makes a turn here onto Webb Avenue. Again, this is very close to Burbank Airport, so we're kind of having to dodge some of the aircraft here, but we will get over it as soon as we can as he crosses over Hines Avenue, continuing at about 60 miles an hour. Cross traffic coming up. Westbound Roscoe, westbound on Roscoe Boulevard, about 40 miles an hour. Slow down his speeds there as he made that turn. So we are back in, you could call this North Hollywood. If he continues, he could get into the Sun Valley area as he makes a turn here onto Laurel Canyon from Roscoe. I think that technically does put him into Sun Valley, going at about 40 miles an hour. The LAPD's North Hollywood division officers in pursuit of this murder suspect. In addition to him being a murder suspect, he is considered armed and dangerous. But this is not one of those pursuits where you were going to see them hang back, where they'll let the airship take over. They're going to stay on this one. They're going to stay close behind as he runs through that red there on Laurel Canyon, continuing and now picking up speed significantly, about 75 miles an hour, which is technically the fastest we've seen him go. When he was on the 5 freeway earlier, that was basically his top speed, and now he's on surface streets at about those speeds as well. At least 2 suspects in the car, of course the driver and then a passenger who is sitting right next to him. But in terms of whether there's anyone in the back, we have yet to confirm that. Oh, it's going to be close. That guy has no idea what's going on. Took out a few trash cans there and continuing here on Stagg Street. Continuing on Stagg, going to be coming up to Lankershim here in just a moment. Slow down his speed there a little bit after he hit those trash cans. He's going about 40 here, but this is a residential area, and the concern earlier was that on some of these residential streets, we did have pedestrians, and so we saw a couple of close calls with those pedestrians, so that's the concern here. He's going to be coming out to the back onto the major here, Lankershim Boulevard, right at our 2 o'clock, with the airship now overhead yet again after clearing the Burbank airspace, or the traffic rather, that was landing at Burbank Airport. But you see those LAPD officers from the LAPD's North Hollywood division still close behind as the suspect comes up to a red light, but he just got lucky there, turned green on him as he continues here on Lankershim Boulevard. Putting on his brakes here. He's probably going to have a little bit of traffic coming up here. I'll widen out the shot so we can see. He has a red light and blows right through it. Lankershim through Sherman Way, again moving back towards the area of Burbank Airport, which makes it a little bit more difficult for us because now we have the traffic that is landing at the airport that we have to contend with. So of course we'll try to keep our best eye on this one as he comes up to some cross traffic here. There we go, and it just turned green on him, and he was able to continue here on Lankershim Boulevard through Van Owen. He's basically circling the same area. He's creeping into Burbank a little bit, into North Hollywood. He made it as far north as Sun Valley, but for the most part, he's sticking to the same general area, Laurel Canyon, Lankershim, and then some of the smaller streets here in the area as well. So this may be an area that he is familiar with as he comes up to a little bit of traffic here. Wrong side of the road here, coming into the intersection, blows right through that red, continuing here on Lankershim Boulevard. Lankershim Boulevard through a Victory. basically straddling that middle lane, that middle turn lane, just on the other side here of the self-storage. We'll see what way he pops out, and sure enough, he's going to pop out right next to us, right at our 2 o'clock. Avenue. We have seen him on Beck Avenue before. And again, my concern here is that there are pedestrians out in the street. You see a couple people out and about here on Beck Avenue. And I can tell you that some people who may be watching the broadcast may be standing outside. And that's why we're seeing a few more pedestrians than we might usually see out and about at this time of night. But he just made a turn there from back onto Sylvan Street. So now he's on Sylvan Street. Again, this is what you could call a residential area. You can see that there's houses on either side of the street. And he does slow down his speed just a little bit when he gets to these areas. He's going about 30 miles an hour at this point. Going to be coming right under us, southbound on Tujunga from Sylvan. And he may come under us here for just a moment, but we, of course, will maneuver the shot around so that we don't lose sight of him. Continuing on Tujunga with a cross of Delano. So bear with me here. I have to move the shot here for just a moment because he is coming right under us. But he should be coming out here on the other side, coming out onto Oxnard and making a right-hand turn onto Oxnard from Tujunga. In terms of what city we're in, North Hollywood would be the best way to describe this, as he makes a turn there from Oxnard onto Lankershim Boulevard. So he is in the North Hollywood area. The biggest landmark that we're going to have in the area will be Burbank Airport, Bob Hope Airport, for those who know it by that name. So he's essentially just to the southwest of the airport. That's going to be our major landmark here in the area as he continues here on Lankershim Boulevard, crossing Sylvan Street. We've seen him on Sylvan Street before, and now he's going to be coming up to the major street here. My monitor's a little small up here, but I can tell you that our assignment desk says that they may see some sparks coming from the right passenger wheel. So that's something that we're going to keep an eye out for to see if we do see that again. So there's a possibility that that front passenger tire may be giving out, and I believe I see them now as well. See a little bit of sparks there. I'm using my doubler there. Oh, almost loses control there as he makes that dramatic right turn there. Again, this is an older model Honda Civic. It's unclear how much more this vehicle is going to be able to take, but you saw those little bit of sparks that my assignment desk was talking about. You see that passenger tire right there coming to a stop, and we see one person running. They are describing him as the passenger, but it's unclear whether or not it was the driver that jumped out of the passenger side. But we're going to continue to follow the vehicle because that guy's going to be in custody here in just a moment. Police officers are close behind. We're going to stay with the car here as it picks up speed dramatically on Sylvan Street. And you're starting to see those sparks there on that front passenger tire. The vehicle's going to come under us here for just a moment. Again, I'm going to move the camera here, so bear with me as it comes right under us again on Sylvan Street. I'm hearing that they're trying to take that guy who ran away from the vehicle into custody. They still have eyes on him, and they will be taking him into custody shortly as the vehicle continues here on surface streets very close to Sylvan Street. It's another street called Friar Street, I believe, as he makes a turn here onto Beck Avenue. Right behind us. Okay, great. He's on Beck Avenue again. So this is a street where we have seen this suspect before. What is unclear to me, because it happened so quickly, is whether the person we saw jump out is the driver or the passenger. It almost seemed like to me that the driver is the one that ran away and the passenger took over the vehicle. But it happened so quickly, and my monitor's awfully small up here. I can't quite confirm that, but I'm sure that my assignment desk is replaying the tape and figuring out who's still behind the wheel, whether it was our original driver or the passenger. But I can tell you that one suspect took off running. Police are looking for him, going to be taking him into custody shortly, as there were plenty of units behind this vehicle to take that suspect into custody. The vehicle continued, though, after dropping off that person, continuing here on a smaller street here, coming up to Hart Street. It basically ends in a T intersection there and is now making a westbound turn onto Hart. My assignment desk, of course, just replayed the video as we were mentioning a moment ago. And from their vantage point, it sounds like the person that we saw running was sitting in the back. It may have been a passenger who was in the back. And that's just based off of the replay that we did of the video. Yeah. We're still trying to figure out exactly how many passengers may be in the vehicle in addition to the person driving. Of course, it appears that the person who jumped out of the car just a few minutes ago may have been one of the passengers who was sitting in the back, but we're still working to confirm that information. And at this point, it's unclear whether or not there still is a passenger sitting next to the driver. We'll work to confirm that once we get closer to the vehicle. But the vehicle is about our 2 o'clock right now in the Burbank Airport airspace, so we have to back off just a little bit because we do have the aircraft that are landing in the area. He is going to be stopping here at a park. So you see the driver, he's running for it with all he's got. He's going to be running into the park area. You see that there are other people out in the park area, but I still have eyes on him right off our nose. He's running through the park. I'll get you a name for the park here in just a moment, but this is the park that is right next to the 170 freeway. They are describing him as a male wearing all black, going over the 170 freeway. I'm going to use my infrared technology up here in News Chopper 4 Alpha because I don't want to lose sight on him as the shot gets darker here. Crossing over the 170 freeway, running, giving it all he's got, but he's starting to run out of juice, but he's going to keep going. Just went over the 170 freeway using the pedestrian bridge to get over it and continuing here. Now he's going to be on the west side of the freeway, essentially. The park where he stopped the car was right next to the freeway, and he parked the car there, or stopped it rather, and took off running. He's in the brush here at the park. He's under the tree here. We see him continuing to run through the park. I still see him thanks to the infrared technology up here in News Chopper 4 Alpha, but I can tell you that this guy is wearing all black, so he is going to be difficult to keep up with, but we, of course, will do our best as he continues running here through the park. He's right under these trees, and I can tell you that the police officers are close behind. I saw them running right behind him, so it'll be just a matter of minutes, and this suspect will be in custody. But I can tell you that as of yet, he is still not in custody. He is under the tree here in the park area, getting out of the infrared there for just a moment. You see the LAPD airship light overhead trying to find this guy, and you see officers now arriving on scene with their flashlights looking for this suspect. Here's a big picture for everyone to see. You see the 170 freeway, and then you see the park. We last saw him under these trees here. That is where the police last saw him as well. That is why you see the LAPD airship night sun lighting up the area. We basically also last saw him in this particular area here. You see one of the flashlights there from the police officers looking for the suspect. I'm listening to the police scanner, waiting for them to say that they have this guy in custody. But now I'm hearing that he's running through the parking lot. He's running through the parking lot. There he is. We find him yet again. He's throwing his hands up. He might be giving up here. And the police airship, they see him too. This guy's not going anywhere. But he's going to give it a little bit more. Oh, maybe carjacking this person. Oh, no. He's trying to get into the silver vehicle, opening the door, pulling the driver out. The driver is running for it. And now he's getting into the passenger seat. Now he's closing the driver door. Passenger door is still open. Trying to figure out how to drive away in this Honda. And he's off. He's off through the parking lot of this park here on Whitsett Sherman Way. And here are the police officers. Boom! I'm going to widen out just a touch because this is a very dangerous situation here with the police officers face to face with this suspect. This is Whitsett Avenue. You see the officers with guns drawn, pointed directly at the suspect in the vehicle that he just carjacked. Again, this was a suspect who was wanted for murder, and he was also an armed and dangerous suspect. There was a possibility that he was armed, so they still have to treat him as if he is armed. I'm keeping a wide shot here because we, of course, don't know what's going on, and we don't want to show anything that we're not prepared to show you. They are making contact with him. Whitsett, south of Sherman Way. The police officers are requesting a rescue ambulance just in case. You saw the collision there with the officers. It's unclear whether anyone got hurt, but you see the standoff here. You've got the suspect in the carjacked vehicle, and you've got the LAPD's North Hollywood and Foothill Division officers on scene. I'm continuing to monitor the scanner, and once I hear that the situation has de-escalated or I see the suspect's armed, then at that point I will zoom the shot in. But for now, we'll keep this medium shot here. Whitsett Avenue, Sherman Way, right next to the 170 freeway. You see the suspect crawling out there. I'm going to go ahead and push the shot in here. Now that we see his arms, I feel a little bit more comfortable. He's getting on his stomach. He is complying with the authorities. You see the team of officers there with their weapons drawn and pointed directly at this murder suspect. They are saying suspect in custody, but we are seeing it live here, and we can tell you that he is about to be taken into custody. Officers moving in, going to be handcuffing him here, and they will check the vehicle to see that, in fact, there wasn't anybody else inside. But again, this was the vehicle that he carjacked. So anybody else who's in the vehicle is going to be a victim. The initial suspect vehicle, I have not heard them clear that vehicle just yet, but I can tell you that they most likely have. In a moment, we'll move the shot back over to that original suspect vehicle as the suspect is taken into custody here in North Hollywood. Sure. This is Whitsett Park, and I'm going to go ahead and move the shot over to try to find the victim. He may be on the sidewalk. 10-4. I'm hearing a little more information on the scanner. Okay. 10-4. So Jim, what we want now is just not to lose the guy in the red shirt. Oh, sure. And yours are the co-pilot. Oh, there you go. Pilot. Yeah? Okay, no worries. And Jamie on the microwave. I don't see them yet. You saw them? Okay, perfect. I had my eyes focused on the guy. He's still in the parking lot for Whitsett Park. Or Whitsett Sports Field, to be exact. Okay. He's right behind the tree. We have to move to get him again. He's right in front of that white van, so he's still in the parking lot. Yeah. He's 6 o'clock right now. Okay, I have him again. To desk, he's still in the parking lot, standing in front of a white van. All right, go for it. I'll hold him. Okay, and he's on the move. Okay, never mind. He's still there. He is still there. He is in front of a van, a white van that says Northridge. Okay. I'll keep my eyes on the guy and widen out the shot to see if you can see them. Okay, I think they're across the street, yeah. Our people are across the street, and our carjacking victim is still in the parking lot directly across the street from where our guys are parked.